Teatro todo el nuevo.
Wow. Middle or north?
Ay,
I'm very aggressive.
esa es la misma vaina.
I'm very, and I'm.
Wait, okay, so, eight, right? And then go in. Yeah, se llama base. Y entonces ya, tiene la vaina blanca. Sí, ¿verdad? 17 years old. Yeah, because, okay, say that you also trabajo.
Oh, on that. That's fine.
When you went to Tallahassee,
I don't want any.
that's in 2007. What? 17 years.
She's gonna feel it in choking. In my end. Bueno, ya no.
That's big. Pero, that's right.
I can't say quiet.
I mean, it's not that I asked you. They then if he goes to another state, and that would be, you know, in airplane.
That's it.
He wasn't that. Once again, you know. Sí. Lo que le estoy viendo, y ya le llegó, ya viviendo. Ajá, sí. She's in high school.
You know.
Going, how are you?
Not everything. Oh, great. Thank you.
Well, I
Like weeds, yes, they are. They are. They're gonna be, the oldest one is 6. The middle one just turned 4 in October, and the youngest one will be
Yes,
3.
yes.
They're both 4 and 3, so he's like, yeah. He's like the oldest grandma. Today, I'm like, oh, where's time going?
And then you know, like, we still don't have the house.
No, that you want.
It's on. It's been a long time. It's been years. So I spoke to him a little bit after he left. I knew so.
I did.
I'm gonna age you for it.
But
We said,
How you doing, sir?
and at the end.
You good?
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Council members.
Oh, yeah, Sarah. No, she was in college already.
Entonces, las paredes nuevas, estaban súper lisas.
Wow.
La vieja, no,
10, 15 years now?
yo digo,
10 years, at least, I think 10 years.
I'll fill my water bottle. I could go for something. Water bottle.
This is my mom's first pregnant by no, by adoption. It was adopted into, like, so his, not even blood. Yeah. Yeah, we're not blood related, but we are,
Here?
And 11.
So it's working. Is the fourth, right?
It's been going on.
But, okay, how many years is it really?
2022.
I thought it was, okay, somebody told me 5.
It started in 2022. The soup came out. The soup came out,
For 3 years.
and then.
No, same place.
It's the same place.
It's the same.
It's the same place.
Yeah.
Same.
It's the same
It's
place.
the same venue.
Uh-huh,
It's a concert hall.
right.
No. Yeah, concert, yeah.
Uh-huh. It'll be-
You know, I spoke to some neighbors, they said they didn't hear anything. Like,
Really?
you
They
it's
didn't
like
hear
a rock.
Or they're.
Oh, you weren't there, I think.
Or loss of hearing.
Hello. Very nice, very nice.
The young man.
No, she couldn't.
We played that in my
Wow.
cousin's family.
The amount of-
What's going on here, girl? Yeah, what's going on with you?
Everything is great. You're like this, he was like he's, yeah, that was he loves his whole.
In your sleep or what? What's going on?
The vibration is.
I'm not looking at me, bro.
It's not a big deal.
Well, okay.
Ese camina por ahí.
No, it's all good. That day, honestly, that night, I don't even remember the music people. I never went upstairs to the pianist upstairs, the sax. I went up.
New cars, yeah?
Like, I went up, I was in all my little world, but I'm just saying, like,
No.
Upstairs. Cause I was taking, I wanted to give my wife a tour, so I went upstairs, I went in there, oh yeah, he was by himself playing, I'm like.
Listen.
I know we didn't guide people upstairs.
Fire up the torches on. Clean the house.
Oh, yeah,
And they started getting prepared for his birthday.
they fixed up
Pues
everything.
by the way, yeah, followed up with his cards.
The next time of the next day after
I've
that,
got, there's something else. I'm
there's so
working
many
on.
workers
I
there.
think, I'll tell you. There's something.
But wait,
Oh, but wait, that was-
No, I'm the one that's not.
El otro día tuvimos que irnos por ahí. No, ya no,
That's my reason.
and I can't imagine.
The big roller, the roller.
Abierto todavía la calle. Pues,
Give me a second. I need somebody tall to fix the clock.
Why?
excuse me. Excuse me. Are you doing a fundraiser for a trip to New York? It looked like those, things where you put money in.
I take little change. I guess. Because of yesterday.
Thank you.
Everything's being around.
I saw it over here. Now every time I go by, I look at it.
Thank you, Lieutenant. It's called and other duties as assigned. Famous line in human resources.
You're gonna speak. Only if you speak.
That's the one from Las Vegas.
Como te decía, donde finish Oakwood from east. Huh? And
Good evening. If you're here and you'd like to speak during public forum or during an agenda item, please be sure to come up here to the podium. Eric, do we have the, maybe put it back. Is there anyone that would like to speak during public forum that hasn't signed in? Okay, or during an agenda item, you need to register before we start the meeting, please. Okay. Are we ready, Erica?
She's here. Right there.
I don't have it on mine. 11A? No. Right, was it supposed to be there?
I just want to make sure I have the right.
Do you have the gym? Okay.
Okay, did you tell him? Okay. Okay, it's fine. And the Santa Claus, ¿dónde lo pusiste?
Okay,
¿Es Santa
we're
Claus
good.
dónde está?
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Vasquez,
here.
Councilman Santeen,
Here.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Here.
Councilman Fahed.
Here.
There is a quorum present.
Okay, thank you. Please rise if you are able to join us for the invocation by Councilman Santeen.
Lord, thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Today, I pray for our mayor and all levels of city officials, including the city council. I'm asking you to graciously grant us the wisdom to govern and to conflicting interests and issues of our times, with a keen thirst for justice and the true needs of our people. I ask all this in your name, our Lord, our Savior, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, welcome everyone to our November 12th regular council meeting. For those of you that are joining us here, we're so happy you're here in the council chambers with us. And for those of you that are joining us virtually at home, welcome. We're going to get started with awards and presentations. And our first presentation is a presentation for Miami Springs Employee Service Award, recognizing a very special employee. And I'll let our city manager take it over.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to do something. I took a page actually from the police department. I wanted to begin recognizing all of our city employees for their years of service, especially when they reach one of the milestones, you know, the 5, 10, 15, 20. And it just so happened when we began to implement it, our first one is our IT director, George Fonseca, who is in his 20th year here in Miami Springs.
Okay, George, come on up.
So I want to do this so that the residents get to see, because a lot of times us in government, we get dehumanized, right? They're like, oh, they're robots because they're stuck in their bureaucratic ways. But we're human beings, and it's a good man right here. So we're very lucky to have him, a great employee, trying to unleash so we can update a lot of stuff. So, but he's very conscientious of the budget as well. So he has a lot of ideas. So can't wait for the future with him. But 20 years, thank you so much for your service.
And George, do you want to say a few words? Come on.
It's been an easy 20 years because of the people I work with. You know, it's a great team. All the department heads work really well together, and makes it easy. You know, it's a lot of challenges, but we get through them. So it's good. Hopefully I have another 20 years in me, but I don't know.
And Mayor, so if you, I believe
Yes,
you have.
and we
the
have we'll have a certificate, but I want to tell our residents, you see George's demeanor right now, very low key. He's always like that. It doesn't matter that, you know, our IT's on fire, that we're getting threats, and
He's pretty
I
calm.
can't
He's
tell you,
very
right? He's always calm and, you know,
He
just
may
can't-
be part robot then.
Yes.
At least AI.
And I can't tell you how across the board governments, but municipalities, particular that we're aware of, constant threats, constant cyber threats. I mean, it's nonstop. And George is responsible for making sure our IT works, that we all have the communication we need in every single department, externally and internally within the city, and then constantly being on guard for these cyber attacks. As you may know, some cities have been held ransom, have been hijacked or whatever they call them, and, had to pay ransoms. And the stress that this job involves, and George is pretty much with a very small staff, a one-man operation where he handles it all, as many employees do in our city. I can't tell you how much we owe him. And again, you're constantly, when I'm calling you about something that's just something not working, he's as calm as could be, or it could be a major cyber attack and he's as calm as it could be. It amazes me. Jose is also amazing. Yes. Is Jose here? No, he's been, okay. All right. No, he is. Jose's last name is Mendoza, and he's extraordinary. So I can't tell you how behind the scenes they're keeping our city humming, safe, and able to continue to the threats are nonstop, and they're going to continue to get worse. So George, with that, we have a certificate.
Yellowstone. Also a part-timer on Yellowstone. His character is Jamie.
Thank you, Mayor.
And this certificate says, this award is proudly presented to George Benesca, our IT director, in recognition of 20 years of exceptional service to the city. Your dedication and contributions have been instrumental in our success. Thank you for your commitment to excellence and congratulations on reaching this milestone. Thank you so much, George.
Thank you. Another 20, right?
Yes, yes.
Wait, George, go ahead, George.
For the gram, for the gram.
You're welcome.
Camera shy.
Great. Everybody has $500.
And we'll stay here because we have a few more awards for the council.
Okay.
Moving back and forth. Give me 1 second. And I want to thank our city manager, JC, for starting this, initiating this concept of recognizing our employees that have been with us so long.
You're welcome.
We're very indebted to them. The next award and presentation is for our Artist of the Month for November, Emma Hope Khalil. And she's a student from Miami Springs High School, senior high. Emma, you're here, come on up. As you know, our city hall, every month, we celebrate an artist of the month. Anyone from the community who decorates our city hall, encourages us to appreciate art, and we get a chance to display the talent that's within our own community, which is pretty amazing. So Emma, your works, your drawings, I guess they're all drawings, are just extraordinary. So I ask everyone on your way out, or if you're not here in City Hall tonight, stop by anytime this month and see her, the work of this very talented artist. And we thank you so much. Certificate in recognition is presented to Emma Hope Khalil. Emma is honored with a certificate as Artist of the Month for November. This recognition celebrates her exhibition in Miami Springs City Hall lobby in November 2024 and is presented with appreciation by the mayor and the council of Miami Springs. The principal of Miami Springs, do we have your art teacher?
No, she
You're also, okay. Principal and the parents, please come on forward. Give it to Shannon.
No, this is a very talented. It's a pelican. Yes.
We all fit.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. Oh, beautiful.
And hold on, I want to hear a little bit about Pelican Playhouse while after Emma speaks. It's always a good opportunity.
Thank you so much for the support, and I'm really happy that I'm the Artist of the Month, and it means a lot. Thank you so much.
And let's get this opportunity for you to say a few words for, this is a very talented family,
Well,
obviously. Because you have,
well, yeah, we've actually been part of the Pelican Playhouse for, I think, 14 years now.
Yes.
Well, not me, but my eldest daughter, Hannah Faith, she started when she was 5 and she's 19 now. So, and then my wife decided to, oh, I want to do something on stage with her. So she did it. And then I was like, oh, well, if you did it, then I got to do something with her on stage. So we started that way. Emma was basically born in the Pelican Playhouse. Our artistic director, original artistic director, founding one, Ralph Wakefield and Nancy Jones. They're no longer with us. Right. They're alive. They're alive. Wait, but it's a Popka, so I don't know how life. Well, anyways, we love you. We visited them already like 2 or 3 times. That's enough. Universal's close. And then Sam Chesser, who's also the manager of our self-help credit union in the Circle. He took over a couple years ago. He's been an actor even before we have been there. And we've got so many Pelicans here, and they're basically our family. It's meant everything to us. We've been in every show for the last 13 or 14 years together on stage, 50, 60 of them, whatever it is. They've all been awesome and crazy and fun. And hopefully you guys can come out and watch one of our shows. The next one is the last weekend of January, the first weekend of February. And it's going to be a really fun one this time. It's nothing you would know if I told you what it is about, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And we just love being part of this community. People always ask, oh, you live in Miami Springs. I'm like, no, I'm dying in Miami Springs. Not real soon, hopefully. But the point is that we're committed to this. We love everyone here. We love everything about this. And we're going to do everything we can while we can to make this place as special as it's been for us and for everybody else. God bless. All right. Okay, so we need a bigger stage. Yeah.
I wanna just say that Pelican Playhouse is one of the programs run by the Miami Springs Recreation Department. So it's part of, not everyone is an athlete, but there's a lot of recreational opportunities in Miami Springs, and the Pelican Playhouse is one of them. Check them out. You can go to the website in our city recreation department and find out about them. And they, all ages, young children. Our young daughter was in it while she was in middle school, all the way to adults are more than welcome to participate.
Right. I didn't realize.
This mother is the most amazing actress, and I just realized, I saw the mystery one.
Oh,
Hilarious.
that means yes. Thank
That was
you.
awesome. Thank you so much. They're not here? Okay, so our next presentation, and the family's not here to receive the award, but we'll be sure to send it to them, the certificate. It's a certificate of recognition. Every month, our Parks Board selects a yard of the month. They drive around and they select a yard of the month that, just signifies care of the environment, of the community. And so this month it's presented to Alexander and Yesenia Martinez at 850 Plover Avenue, the yard of the month for November 2024. And we'll be sure to get them the certificate. But if you get a chance sometime during the month, pass by 850 Plover and just enjoy their beautiful yard. So thank you so much.
I got afford, I had to get surgery.
Okay, so let's see, we move on to open forum, and we have 2 people signed up to speak at open forum. I just want to, I always do at the beginning of open forum to explain, open forum is an opportunity for residents to address everyone on the council at one time. We're all ears. It's one-way conversation. You communicate whatever you want to tell us. We're listening, but we don't engage in discourse, okay? We have 2 people signed up, so each of you have 3 minutes, please, to speak. And after the meeting or later in the week, if you want to follow up on whatever you spoke about, you can reach out to anyone on the council individually, or to our city manager or our city clerk, okay, and follow up on it. Okay, so first on public forum is Sandra Ruiz.
Yeah.
Come on up.
I hate public speaking. Okay, hello.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening. My name is Sandra Ruiz. I've been a resident of Miami Springs since 2007. I'm here to talk about Factory Town and other possible music venues in the city of Hialeah. So I do have a list that I've sent I hope you all have. So I'll just go through the bullet points. Basically, the last event was Halloween weekend. It was just incessant loud music and bass starting at 7 p.m. through 7 a.m. from Thursday to Sunday. And Factory Town is proposing a new 11-story garage, which I found out today. City of Hialeah residents were going to their council meeting today at 5:30 since there was no input from surrounding residents and restricted the information to the public. This area also has a 24-hour liquor license. It's also known that developers and investors are planning to make this area another Wynwood, and property owners are being approached to sell other buildings so they can add additional venues and parking lots. Okay, but now we're gonna start. What is the council doing for us? As the 6th highest taxes in Miami, behind only Miami Shores, Biscayne Park, El Portal, Golden Beach, and Opa-locka, there needs to be an affirmative action, strategic action plan to preserve the quality of life for Miami Springs residents. The disturbance is affecting most of our city and can be heard past the police station. The next city council meeting of Hialeah is December 12th for public hearing for that 11-story building, and I'm hoping we'll be represented there as well. My next bullet point is legal representation. Who's representing us in court? Are we filing any injunctions, any lawsuits required to ameliorate the situation? We were not happy. The city was not happy with the last firm that was hired for the town center. And with the 50+ apartments, crime, overcrowding to Miami Springs, and we're just, I guess in fear that we're ending our way of life here. What's being done to vet these new attorneys or firms? And what was the final outcome also of the same Factory Town situation that we had in 2022? That's a question for me. Crime is next on the list. We do pay our officers to police Miami-Dade County's Northwest 36th Street, hotels, the human trafficking, and the drug dens. Allowing these events is inconsistent with the family life and the quiet enjoyment of Miami Springs residents. Crime will inevitably spill over into our community. Residents fear walking down Curtis Parkway at night. Is this quickly becoming a thing of the past for us? Murders, robberies, guns, drugs will creep into Miami Springs just like the rest of Miami. It already has. We're also concerned with Miami Springs home values. Our way of life in Miami Springs is unique and rare in Miami. Our property values reflect it. If we allow this development of a party atmosphere at our city line, there will be no way to control the spiraling of these negative influences into our community.
Okay.
So our way of life is quickly disappearing.
Thank you.
3
Thank you
minutes?
so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and next we're going to hear from Marilyn Morales? Morales.
Hello. Good evening, dear members of the Miami Springs City
If you
Council.
could, I'm sorry, state your address. It's on here, but for the record.
448 La Villa Drive.
Yes, thank you.
I am here today as a concerned resident of Miami Springs to address several pressing issues that are affecting our community. First, I would like to bring to your attention, as you know, the excessively loud noise emanating from the city of Hialeah. Specifically the business Factory Town, specifically on the dates of October 31st through November 2nd. The persistent noise pollution significantly impacted the quality of life for many of its residents in our neighborhood. The constant disturbance in the form of music, which continued until 6 a.m., was not only a nuisance, but also a potential health hazard, affecting our sleep and our overall well-being. The noise was so intense that it caused the windows of our houses to shake, further exasperating the disturbance. Additionally, I am also deeply concerned about the quality of life issues that are arising because of this noise pollution and other factors that will continue to arise from this. Our community has always been known for its peaceful and serene environment, but recent developments in our surrounding neighborhood are threatening this reputation. Today, as a matter of fact, as Sandra said, the city of Hialeah is having their own city council meeting in which developers will propose expanding the Factory Town area by adding an 11-story parking garage. Because of all the development, it is imperative that we take immediate action to preserve the tranquility and livability of our neighborhood. Furthermore, I would like to highlight that the previous agreements made with Factory Town are now being broken. These agreements were a result of the January 21st, 2022 lawsuit regarding the noise from Factory Town. The noise mitigation plan was put in place to ensure mutual respect and cooperation of our city, their venue, and their violation is unacceptable. It is crucial that we hold Factory Town accountable for their violations and ensure that this arrangement is honored. We can no longer sit back and wait for each event to occur to then react. Considering these issues, I have several questions on behalf of many Miami Springs residents that I would like the city council to address. Obviously not right now, but these are the questions that we have as city members. How will the city council take a proactive approach as their surrounding neighborhoods grow to ensure that our community's quality of life is not compromised? Will the city attorney be involved in addressing the broken agreements with Factory Town and in formulating a plan to mitigate the noise pollution? Should our city be looking into hiring external counsel that specializes in noise ordinances? A major concern that we have. How and when will the residents of Miami Springs be informed about the measures being taken to address these concerns? Last, I would like to also address the issue of how the Miami Springs Police Department has handled complaints from residents regarding the noise. On my most recent visit to the MSPD, my phone call from the previous night's noise had not been logged in.
Okay.
Therefore, leading me to believe that not all calls are being documented properly. The
Thank
lack
you.
of documentation is concerning and needs to be rectified.
Thank you
I
so
urge you
much.
to take measures. Thank you.
Okay, and next we have Mr. Carlos Lumpuy. Come on up, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Carlos Lumpuy, 181 Hammond Drive, here in Miami Springs, where we live, and we're proud of it. I wanted to bring up something I noticed last Tuesday, a week ago. We're 4 precincts in Miami Springs, and even though I live so close to the rec center where we can vote, I'm on the south side of Westward. So I go to the country club and I vote at the country club. And I noted to Ken Wilde's daughter who took me there, he's head of the historic, and they have 2 large storage units at the place in Virginia Gardens, the storage facility. And some of them have the most beautiful artwork. The 4 pictures down in the lobby of this building remind me of what they have, but they're in the storage unit. And in this large room where we vote, which can be rented out for receptions and whatnot, the walls are blank. And of the 33 municipalities here in Miami-Dade County, we are so fortunate. We have a wonderful history that goes back 100 years. And why have them in storage units when we can just have them out on display and we can boast about the wonderful venues and how very special it is to live here in Miami Springs. And I just wanted to point that out, and I thank you very much.
Thank you,
All right,
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and that ends the persons that are signed up for public forum. I do want to let the residents and others that might be interested know at the end, it's not an agenda item, but at the end of the meeting, and this should not be a long meeting, although you never know. Sometimes I've said that and
Jinxed it.
or thought we're going to be here all night and we're out very quickly. You never know. But at the end of the meeting, when we have reports from our city attorney and city manager, we are going to be discussing the noise issues that we experienced last weekend. Okay, so let's move to approval of council minutes. I have the regular meeting of October 28th, 2024.
Motion to
Chair,
approve
motion
6A.
to approve 6A.
Second.
Okay, is any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Vasquez,
Yes.
Councilman Santeen,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Behet,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. We move to reports from boards, and we have scheduled a report from both of these boards, either one of them. Let's see, we have the Historic Preservation Board and the Centennial Committee.
Jim
Board.
couldn't make it and Julie.
Okay,
weren't able.
so we'll postpone both of those reports. We move to the consent agenda item 9. Are there any items that someone wants to pull for discussion? Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to the chair. Motion to, can I do a straight through or it has to be individualized?
No, just.
Okay, so it would be 9A through I. Just for clarification, these are already things that were budgeted for, either through grants or budgeted items from our last budgeting period. I feel okay with all these items, so that's why I'm making a motion to approve 9A through I.
Second.
We have a second? Okay, any
Can I
discussion?
apologize?
Sure. Okay,
It seems it always goes that way, so we'll leave
Okay.
it at that way.
all right.
Second that motion, please.
Any discussion? Consent agendas 9A through I. Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Vasquez.
Yes.
Councilman Santeen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bravo.
Yes.
Councilman Behet.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay. We move to, this is going to be, I think, the short meeting. Surprising. The shortest. We move to reports and recommendations, and the first one is from our city attorney.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. It's a pleasure being here tonight. I know that the city manager is going to be issuing a more in-depth analysis regarding the factory town issues, but I do want to, for everyone's benefit, let you know that the city attorney's office is working.
Roger, I don't know if your microphone's working. Is it carrying? Yeah.
So I'll just repeat that,
Okay.
just for the benefit of the public. Our office is working in tandem with the city manager's office in relation to the factory town issue.
Thank you, sir. City manager, do you have
Yes.
any other reports, Roger? Okay, we'll go to our city manager.
Yes, Mayor, thank you so much. Well, as we know, and as you all know, Factory Town's been at it again. They had a Halloween spectacular, if you will, and it was rather loud. As a matter of fact, Lieutenant Castillo, when we were setting up for the car show, like 5 o'clock in the morning, he said he heard it. He heard it from the circle. So we're in a, you guys know, it's really a tough situation. It's a legal business in another city operating, but it's affecting us. Right? So what do we do? First of all, I looked at how we've been handling these calls, and I'm making some changes with the police department. Before, what the police department would do was they would get the call, go out there and measure to see if it was a violation of the decibel meter. We're not going to do that anymore. Once we start getting calls, we're going to call Factory Town, the representative, who in the past they've made modifications and it would quiet down for a while. So immediately as soon as we start getting the calls, we're going to call Factory Town. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to meet with an acoustic or sound engineer, and even bring them on board, to provide us with recommendations on what we can do, or to ask them to do to muffle the sound, at least so it doesn't come over here. Because again, I think most residents here, Hialeah can do whatever Hialeah wants to do. Just, I want to sleep, right? So I want them to be able to do it, because from my understanding, and Roger, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we first sued them, they got a sound engineer and then they made recommendations based on them.
Mhm.
I'd rather hire one and pay for one, assuming it's a reasonable cost, right? But I want to get recommendations and pay for them ourselves, right? So I can approach them and say, this is what we want you to do. I'm going to set up a meeting with them. They have a couple of concerts coming up. It's the end of the year, so they have a couple of holiday concerts and one for the end of the year bash. So I want to meet with them prior to that, so we can nip this one in the bud, so that when they do have those events, we're not sitting here at the following meeting. And then I'm also going to look at our decibel meter, because I think we have the decibel meter we have registers sound, like you and I speaking, an airplane, it will register that sound, but I'm not sure if it'll pick up the bass. And the bass is what is really gonna rattle your windows. And that's what's gonna make life real fun. So speaking with the acoustic engineer, I'm gonna get their recommendation as to what meter would best be suited for what we need, and then purchase that. So we can go out there and properly measure what's really happening out there. Because right now, it's not gonna pick up the bass, and the bass is gonna travel underground, and it's gonna rattle your windows, and you're just gonna hear it. And if none of this works in the next couple of weeks, I will recommend suing. So, Mayor, that's my report.
Okay. Council, any questions?
To the
for
chair.
City manager?
Got a question.
Okay, let's get.
For the benefit of the residents, sometimes, the sound is waking you up at 4 a.m. I know that we've been telling residents, call the police, but is it enough to call the police and make a complaint? Do you have to be there when the police arrives and talk to the police at 4 a.m. in your nightgown? Like what exactly is the procedure that we should tell residents to follow?
Call the police and let them know their address, that Factory Town is at it again. And then they're gonna come out and do I don't know if you need to meet with the
Do you
property
need
owner.
to-
Yeah, you come on, chief.
Chief, if you don't mind.
You don't need my permission. Come on up.
Good evening. We receive a phone call. We want residents to contact us, not email the council, text the council 3 days later. Call us when there's a problem. We will dispatch officers out there. At the same time, JC and I just discussed this earlier today. We'll be contacting the Factory Town rep at that moment. The midnight shift lieutenant or afternoon shift lieutenant will be contacting them, telling them we're starting to receive complaints. You guys need to do something. In the meantime, we're going to follow the same procedures we always did. Go out to the complaint location, take our decibel reading, file a report, go forward with that. We continue to get complaints, we'll have the same thing go on, but we will end up contacting Hialeah's point of contact at that time, telling him we're receiving this many complaints, et cetera, and we're not getting anything changed. We'd like you to do something. In the end, it's Hialeah's jurisdiction. We can't force them to do anything, as what has happened in the past.
So the
But
resident.
this will all be
the
documented.
resident doesn't have to meet with the police officer when they come
They
out.
could tell the dispatcher that they would like to not be contacted, but this is my address, and they can give their information or they can be anonymous. It's fine.
Okay.
And our dispatcher will record that because it's very important that we have a
It'll be
record of
entered into
the
the
residents
CAD.
complaining, the locations.
It'll be
moving
entered
forward.
into the CAD system. And officers will be dispatched and a report will be generated. Either way, doesn't matter if the decibel reading shows 0, a report will be generated.
Chief, and if I understand correctly, you said if you reach out to Factory Town, which in the past there was our attorneys, we were in the process of suing them and then we dismissed the suit because they put in measures. They hired a sound engineer and they put in measures, and for a while, the events that they were having seemed to be working. There was a contact person. We would call them. Something fell through the cracks this time. We didn't communicate with them enough, letting them know that it was a problem, evidently. It's my understanding. But you said that the police would be notifying them when they get
Well,
complaints.
we get,
Factory Town.
if the first time when we contact the rep, if we don't get a solution right then and there for the rest of the night, the next call we get, we'll be contacting Hialeah as well.
Is that Hialeah Police or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted
Yes,
to
they
clarify
usually
that
have
so
a
that they have a
commander.
record of our,
They have a
complaints
command
also.
staff member of some sort usually on scene.
okay.
So we've had some issues in the past where someone wasn't being very proactive. But at the same time, that got taken care of. Unfortunately, the weather also is a very big issue with this as well, because when we have these high velocity winds coming out of the east, the sound carries. I could hear it at my house Friday night, briefly for maybe 5 to 8 seconds. I live in the 1200 block of the West End in the bird section. So it's just goes to show you this, the sound can carry
Yes, sound
very
carries.
far, but like city manager stated with regards to the low frequency, that is not being picked up by our decibel reader. I think that would help.
And that reminds me, and it's really on a side note because it really has no bearing on this particular issue because our ordinances, we cannot enforce, a factory down there, not in our city. But we're going to need to modify our sound ordinance because right now it only references that one frequency, not the base one, but the other one. And I don't have them off the top of my head.
DBA.
But we need DBA. We're going to need to modify, or we're gonna have to, what do you call it?
I would say amend it.
Amend the ordinance so that we include both.
Through the chair, do we need to amend the ordinance because of Factory Town or because that's an actual issue here?
No,
We should
no,
have-
because if
No.
let's say there's a party or something going on here and they have loud music and it's bass and it's carrying, I want to be able to enforce that because
Do we don't have something like that already?
The ordinance itself reads DBA only. It doesn't reference DBC, which is the low frequency
Got it.
decibel reading.
All right, through the chair. I too was affected. November 3rd, I remember texting JC very early in the morning, and I also followed up with an email. I think we're playing hokey pokey, right? With Factory Town at this point. We've done our due diligence. We've had the decimal reading before. I don't want to spend money to get, I like the idea, but I don't think I need to spend money for a nuisance that's causing me a problem. So if you want, we can select ours, but they pay for it. But my thing is, I think that this is not gonna fix itself.
my strategy there, and I don't want to give away too much strategy, is to have this report so that I have something to take to court if and when I need it. And be like, hey, we got an independent engineer that says this is what they need to do to fix it. And then try to, have them fix it.
But they didn't. My point is, the person that went out there to begin with, they should be making sure that they're just doing the same thing. It's not that hard. So I think that I think we should just move forward with a more aggressive approach, file suit. If they want to go ahead and start negotiating, then you start negotiating the expense to them. Because right now, I mean, I like your idea. If you have to go to court, this is nothing new. This has been happening since 2022. I mean, I wonder how they're serving the city of Hialeah and their residents with those out
Well,
there.
I can say that.
Hialeah had a lot of complaints in the past and they didn't.
Do anything?
Well, it's a business area that, and I spoke with Mayor Bovo back then. This is a business area and they permitted it and they want to encourage businesses there. So
I am gonna
it's their
ask.
right. They have a right to do it. It's their area.
I get that.
The issue is whatever they do in their area cannot cause a disturbance for us. And that's
or cause us money.
I am going to ask that you allow me to do these, at least for the next couple of weeks, for this upcoming event. I'm gonna ask for that because at their last event, in all fairness to them, we did not notify them of the issue when it was going on because our officers were out there with the decibel meter and it
But-
wasn't registering. So I changed that. I changed that practice and say, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to attack it this way.
So we didn't get any calls, not even one?
No, we got
The police?
No,
we had several calls.
We got several calls.
However, they never
We
reached
didn't
the
call.
flesh- They never
we didn't-
reached the threshold to violate our ordinance, and that was the trigger point of when we would contact them. That's the way we've always done it.
So I've changed that. We're going to take a different approach, but in all fairness to them, we didn't notify them. So we didn't give an opportunity to correct
But why didn't we do that?
because it wasn't technically in violation of our ordinance.
I know, but do we have to get there and say, hey, we just got a little.
Like I said, I've changed our approach. So we're not going to let it have to get to there. We're going to change it. We're going to try a different approach. We're going to probably arrive at the same destination, but just allow me this so I can speak to them, tell them, hey, I'm getting
I
people
don't
coming
know.
to
I
our
have
council meeting
police
now.
Officers going to Hialeah, they have their own things going on here. It's like, come on.
They won't even have to go. It's going to be a phone call and it's going to be fine. I know that I want them to stay here as well.
Okay, but I don't want to pay anything.
Through the chair. Through the chair.
yes, sir.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of some arguments that were put up 20-25 years ago about when smoking was allowed inside. And I remember a state assemblyman in New York who fought for not allowing it. And because someone said, well, you can't tell me I can't smoke. And the assemblyman said, well, sir, you're allowed to take the puff, but you're not, you're violating my breathing room. And I think we have something similar here. In other words, yes, they're a business and there are certain things that businesses are allowed because it's privately owned, but there's a line where it affects people's health and so forth. And I'm just raising it, Roger, because this is something, it reminded me of this. because we're gonna keep coming back to this. This thing is only gonna get bigger. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I'm not going to say anything since we may be pursuing legal action. I don't think it's wise for us to discuss this much right now. Let's go ahead and city manager, anything else to report?
You know, I would, no, that's my report today. Sorry. I do want to make mention to the audience here. I know in the consent agenda, there was a number of large ticket items. I want everybody to know that most of them were budgeted items, and the ones that were not budgeted are coming from ARPA funds from the federal government. So it's not coming out of your
Could you
your
just-
income tax, your federal dollars.
And JC, clarify that those are ARPA funds that we've received in the past that
We
we need
received
to
that
use
we-
by the end of the year.
Have to
So,
be used by the end of the year.
Yes,
If not,
so-
they will be taken back.
yes.
We had some.
We're in a
action. We've done
good
great job.
position.
We've done a great job receiving grants for other projects that they were originally earmarked for. So now we have a bit left. And so we found ways to improve our efficiency, improve services, and update a lot of our equipment.
Which is a plus for us. And thank you to our city manager and city assistant city manager and staff for tweaking this to allow us more use of the funds. So, okay, Tammy, our assistant city manager.
We do have a few events. We have our second annual cornhole tournament on November 15th. So if you haven't registered for that, you can begin registering at the Recreation Center. We also have our second annual turkey swim on Saturday, November 16th. I encourage residents to register for that at the Aquatic Center. We have our 15th annual turkey trot, the 5K walk run on November 23rd. The race starts at 7 a.m. and you are more than welcome to register for that as well. There is no day of registration, so we encourage residents to register early. The city is also hosting the tree lighting ceremony December 1st at 6 p.m. Pictures with Santa. Wristband is required, so make sure to reach out to the rec center to get those wristbands. We also have the holiday toy drive, drop off any unwrapped toys at the community center between November 18th through December 20th. And we have the Christmas at the gazebo on December 7th. At 5:45, Santa's parade kickoff at City Hall, and at 6 p.m. Will be the festivities at the gazebo, which also requires a wristband. So make sure to reach out to the community center for that. And lastly, we have the holiday golf cart parade, December 16th. The parade kicks off at 6:30. Spectators are welcome, and golf carts must sign up by November 18th with the Miami Springs Community Center. That'll be all.
Thank you, Tammy. That's a lot of events in our city in these next few months, and they're all fun. So I encourage everyone, if you're sitting at home, please enjoy everything that, our community has to offer, and you meet up with old friends and just have a fun family time. Okay, let's start with reports from the city council. Councilman Vasquez, we'll start with you.
Sure, I just have two.
Vice Mayor, I should say. Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Vasquez.
Two things I want to mention. Yesterday I was under the weather, so for the first time since I've lived in Miami Springs, I missed Veterans Day, but we were well represented. And for those of you who attended, you will have noticed that there were members of the Police Department of Miami Springs, Virginia Gardens, and Medley. And this is going to be an ongoing presence. But I wanted to thank Lieutenant Castillo, who several months ago talked to me about this, about having the Police Honor Guard join the Boy Scouts and raising the flag and so forth. So Lieutenant, thank you so much. Thank you for rounding up some other folks, and we expect the next time around to be even better when we do Memorial Day, which is my second point. As I understand it, and well, as I'm sure some of you have heard, we secured a contractor to do the refurbishing of the War Memorial, which has not been touched in about 50 years. And all of you have contributed in so many ways, buying bricks, just for the fundraising that we've done on the River Cities and all these different events. And it's really great that as far as I'm concerned, and this is what the city manager told me, we're probably going to get started about the end of February.
No, actually, we're gonna get started sooner than that.
Oh, well then,
It will be done by the end of February.
oh,
So-
okay, so we'll be doing the official inauguration of this, God willing,
Correct.
and weather willing, for our next Memorial Day, which is apropos, right? Because the War Memorial recognizes those Americans who paid the ultimate price for our freedom, giving their lives. And so what better way to do it than that? So, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Fahet?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate all the residents that reached out after the Factory Town events over Halloween, and in my briefings and talking with the city attorney, talking with the city manager, I'm 100% behind the plan of action to ameliorate the issue. I think we identified some things that are going to help make it better and to help us to enforce it so that we don't have these setbacks from Factory Town. So thank you to everyone involved.
Okay, Councilwoman?
Right, so it was a first that I approved all the items at once. I don't typically do that, so I'm proud of myself today. Um, yeah, I do. I'm looking forward to not playing hokey pokey with Factory Town anymore. I'm sure that's in our near future. Hopefully the garage is to put everybody in there and have their Factory Town in the garage, but that's wishful thinking. I was gonna say something. Okay, yeah, so I have some special news today because I cannot hold it in anymore. And people are starting to speculate. I am it's funny because I was asking God, listen, I don't know what to do. Campaigning is around the corner. Should I continue to serve my city? I was considering to run for mayor. But apparently God had other plans for me. And I am now expecting a baby boy in March at 41. I can't hold it in anymore. It's just there, you know? He's just there. And it was kind of weird walking around, people looking at me weird when I usually look at people weird. So that's sad. But considering that I know that the majority here voted to get the 4-year staggered, which I respect that. I'm kind of alleviated that it didn't pass because that's something that would have maybe I'll consider in the near in the future to continue to serve my city. I know I could commit to 2 years, 4 years, I don't know. But I won't be a stranger. I don't think I'm going to continue to serve for right now because family is first. And that's it. In December, I'll do my recruitment. I have some standards I'm looking for now that I've served here. It's been a great honor. And I needed to share that because I can't hide it anymore. So if you see me not here or I'm attending Zoom, you know why. I couldn't go to Veterans on Monday because in the morning I wasn't feeling up to it that morning. So that's it. That's all I have to report.
Congratulations.
Super surprised.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for saving me from an embarrassing question.
Hey, I have a question for you though.
You wouldn't
Are
have-
you gonna be
you wouldn't have
Santa Claus?
I wanted to make sure. So
I
You would
have
not
a
have asked.
question for you. Is he the sitting Santa Claus?
We're in negotiations right now, maybe.
talk to Liz. But thank you, and congratulations. I'm really happy for you. So just wanted to tell everybody that was able to attend these last 2 events we had a week and a half ago. It seems like an eternity ago, but after all the work. But I thank the Centennial Committee, Historical Society, and the Curtis Mansion Inc., who all contributed with that night event that we had at the Curtis Mansion. Really nice event. Yes, it shows you that we don't have to go to Coral Gables and other areas to have these fancy events. We can do it here too. And we were fortunate to have a lot of contribution from a lot of people, including the people that came from Ohio, to showcase that motorcycle that Glenn Curtis broke the world record in 1907. The next day at the car show and motorcycle show, people were able to see it and come to it. I hope you didn't take advantage of it this time. I know the rain kind of slow down a lot of the spectators, but it kicked on and it got a lot better later on, and it shows it has the legs to get better. So next year we'll try to top that with maybe something else to bring down so everybody else can enjoy. But the good thing about the event was the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of outsiders who constantly were like, what a nice town, what a great place to do this venue. This town square, it's just perfect. What great people, super nice. So exactly what I wanted to hear, which is, people from the outside to kind of get a little feel for the beautiful little town we have. So I want to thank everybody who's contributed, including the police, who made that also a friendly environment for everybody to come by. Well, thank you.
It was a great event.
Thank you, Councilman. And yes, I wanted to tell you, and I was out of town that weekend, but by all accounts, it was a beautiful event. It really showcased our jewel, Curtis Mansion. To everyone here knows about it, but to people from the outside. So thank you so much. And we kicked off the centennial celebration.
Yep.
For our beautiful city. I want to let the council know, last Thursday and Friday, I was in Orlando attending the League of Cities. I'm on the legislative committee meetings. As you know, we had meetings last month and this month again. And the purpose of these meetings are elected officials from all the state that are on these committees, and there's different committees, development. I'm on the tax and finance committee. There's environmental committees, utility committees, but they're all to try to come up with some policy statements that we'd like to, in the next legislative session, the 2025 legislative session, to pursue with legislators, that they actually create a bill and pass it. And obviously we have to streamline it. We can't have a zillion things. So we agree, we discuss major issues. I've been on the committee for several years now, trying to bring attention to the tourist development taxes, the TDT bed taxes, because we are very highly impacted by this because we have so many hotels in our community, but most other communities aren't. And so my goal is to attract attention from other municipalities throughout the state that might be in similar situations so that we can get a policy statement, and the legislators to work on that. But the four from my committee, one of the major item is going to be the ad valorem taxes, the property taxes. And most people don't realize that, every time we cut down the homestead taxing and cut into our ability to assess property taxes, we're really cutting into the revenues that we have for our community. I mean, the revenues have to come, we have to pay salaries, we have to pay for equipment, services. And so if the city keeps getting less revenues, we will have less ability to meet our needs to provide the services that you expect from us. And it's a really big issue for cities across the state as labor costs, operational costs, everything has gone up, and our revenues will be decreased. There's only so much you can do. We have to balance our budget, unlike the federal government. It's like at the end of the day, we can't do more than we get revenue for. So that's a major issue. The other one is and I mentioned this last time, the business taxes that the state is looking at removing from municipalities the ability to charge business taxes, to register your business, which it's not just the money in our city, it's nominal, but it's also the ability to know what businesses are operating in our community, which is really important that we know, it's not just registering with the state. It's like we need to know what businesses are operating in our community, and particularly, or in addition, the ones that are in people's homes, and have a contact and a means of regulating those. And then the other thing that is also up for discussion, and these are all things that are going to be possibly tweaked in the 2025 legislative session, so that's why we're addressing them, is tangible personal property taxes. And this, it's different from what you think. It really is, and I asked Chris, our finance director, to look into this. It's like businesses that operate in our city that have equipment and other things that are taxed. So it's not what you think, but anyway, for some municipalities throughout the state, particularly if they have utilities in their city, these are great sources of revenue. So just to keep you informed with that, I'm hoping next year somebody from the council will be on these committee meetings. It's a big commitment, but it's important to get our message across.
Can you repeat that tangible one?
Tangible personal property taxes. And the other thing I wanted to say is the Veterans Day ceremony was lovely, as always. Councilman, I'm sorry you couldn't be there because I know you're a big part of that and a veteran. But our former councilman, Bob Best, did a wonderful job. We recognized all the veterans in our community. It's kind of touching for me in the 8 years that I've been on the council. I remember, I'm going to try to say this without getting emotional. Some of the veterans that would attend, older gentlemen who had served in World War II and were attending our Veterans and Memorial Day ceremonies and are no longer with us in the community. And I was thinking about them at the celebration. But anyway, it's a wonderful, beautiful gathering, just honoring our military men and women who protect our way of life and our American, our nation. The other thing I wanted to mention is on Sunday, I attended Grace Lutherans. As all of you know, I really, really appreciate the civic clubs and the churches in our communities. They form the backbone of our community. These people in our civic clubs, our wonderful civic clubs, and in our amazing churches provide the fellowship, the unity, the support. They do so much behind the scenes, not just for our community, but for all communities all over. And Grace Lutheran celebrated its 75th anniversary here in Miami Springs. They had a lovely ceremony on Sunday. So I was very happy to participate in that and thank them greatly for being a part of our community. Yes, sir. Yes. And the Boy Scouts, because the Boy Scouts were there also serving. They had a luncheon afterwards and they were serving. So they do so much. My girls started there when they were little in Grace Lutheran preschool, and we made friends through the preschool. They were still best friends. The parents are still best friends all these years later. The other thing I wanted to mention, and Tammy, I'm not sure if you mentioned the street naming for Yvonne. Okay. This Friday, right? Could you mention that, or to Erica? I want to make sure people know for Yvonne Schoenberger, who is a member from our community that we lost last year.
Yes, her street dedication will be on Friday at 1 o'clock
Okay.
in front of the historical museum
Okay, and for those
on East Drive, sorry.
and her husband's not here tonight, but for those of you who know, Yvonne was instrumental in our historic society. The members of our historical society are volunteers, and they're preserving the history of Miami Springs. They do this, and in the past, they were doing it, keeping things in their garages until we provided a museum for them. But we owe them so much because they don't get paid for it. It's very time consuming. Their dedication is, I can't say enough of, we call ourselves a historic city, and that's a great responsibility that these volunteers do for us. So Yvonne Schoenberger is the one who started the museum. I know she and her husband donated funds to get our first museum started when it was on Westward, and then it moved to the Stadnick Drugs, and now to its place. And she passed away this past year, so we're having a street naming for her right in front of the Historical Society Museum, and everyone is invited. It's at 1 o'clock on Friday. Okay. And I think that's all. Oh, the workshop. I wanted to ask, we're going to have a workshop for the Southeast
Southeast Springs.
Springs.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're still
What-
scheduling that, and we'll coordinate with your schedules
Okay.
accordingly.
Okay. Are we looking before the end of the year, or we're looking into January?
Let me double check with Sylvia, but my idea was to
Gonna
be
get
before the end.
touchy now with the holidays and all of.
If it couldn't be early in this, because we're up around Thanksgiving at this point, the right after Thanksgiving, early December is the sweet spot that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Because once it gets later, it gets tougher.
Okay, and then if not, we'll have to look in January, but I want to make sure that that's still on the agenda. Okay, with that, thank you so much. God bless everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We won't have a second meeting this month, so God bless Miami Springs, and
Thank you, Mayor.
God bless
Thank you.
all of you. Thank you.
I just never heard.
Surprise. I have a good excuse, okay.
So.
You do it.
When she back in 2021. That's literally started in.
But that's it. I can't. Well, it's very little. But it's hard. Thank you.